Hi! welcome back again to the Ani Marie YouTube channel. I just hope you're feeling great and fabulous today, as you're supposed to my king and queens out there. I'm going to do a little bit different today. I'm doing something a little bit different. Today's topic that we're talking about is the misconception of the king. The misconception of the king. And I feel like it's something that we should talk about, and it's something that we should address, and not just take things for what it is, but really try to understand why we feel the way about a king, and why we hold these certain expectations, and why there's such a demand and there's such a standard. And sometimes we can overlook that, and I just want to shed some light on that, because we need each other to bring the best out of each other, and we also need each other because that's how the Most High made us, right? That we can have each other and share our love together. So I'm happy about that. So I love you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Subscribe to the Ani Marie YouTube channel if you have not yet. Like, and please share it. And I love your comments. So comment, let me know how you feel. Let me know what other topics you want me to talk about and all that. I love you guys so much from the bottom of my heart, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so let's talk about it. You guys know how much I love you. You know how amazing you are. You know how wonderful you are. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to take a moment out, and we're going to speak about the kings. And I'm really going to deal with the misconception of the king. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So when you think about misconception, what is it? Misconception is a failure to understand something correctly. The topic today is the misconception of the king. And misconception is the failure to understand something correctly. Yes, come on, D. We can never begin to repair something that we don't truly understand, right? We can't fix something if we don't know all the parts. And when we fail to understand him, we actually are failing ourselves. And I know, Junebug, hey love, I'm gonna get real sappy and sobby and this motivation, but I don't know. I feel for my kings all the time, right? So when we fail to understand him, we are failing ourselves. And when I mean the king, I'm talking about the male figure. I'm talking about divine masculinity. Misconception means the failure to understand something correctly. If we can't come to a place to be able to understand him, and we fail to understand him, then we fail ourselves. The thing is that if we can divide, then we conquer. And that is what the system and the world has always talked about, right? And always done to us. But when we're together and we're unified, there's something much deeper. There's something stronger. There's something more powerful when that happens. There's strength in numbers. ATM, hey love. Yay! Welcome forward, my king. Welcome forward, love. And like I said, I'm gonna try not to cry. I'm gonna try not to, because this is a real touchy subject for me. What can be a touchy subject when you talk about the kings? Yeah. It's, Okay, so if we fail to understand him, we fail ourselves. Right? And I'm just going to start off with a little bit of facts, and then we're going to get deep and we're going to go in. Okay. So facts are starting out that the suicide rate in men are higher than women. So more facts that 6 million are affected with depression. The facts are death related to alcohol is anywhere from 26,000 to 62,000 in our males, in our kings. They're 3 times more likely to use drugs. I should have never. I can't. It's gonna be too hard for me, man. I shouldn't have tried to tap into this, but you know what? I gotta follow what he's saying. Sunflower, hey love. A lot of the respect that we have for our kings, it really comes from our experience, right? And I can't specifically tell you I can't specifically tell you the reason why I feel so strong. I mean, come on, Candy. Well, you feel strong about everybody. I do. But the reason when it's such a touchy subject to me, when it comes to the kings, I've experienced true kings in my life. You know what I mean? My father is everything to me. I know the challenges. I know the struggle. I know it's different, right? There's always a head. There's always. Thank you, Sunflower. Come on, Lord, Heavenly Father. Yes, let me get through this. I feel it. I see that when I talk about. I'm sorry, guys. I'm such an empath. I feel it. I feel it. I feel them. When I speak about these things, I feel the pain. I feel the struggle. You know, so there's a pressure on men to always be strong. And that's some type of pressure in everything that you do and everything that you, every time you're thinking about something, every time you move, every action you make, you're weighed down, kings, with this pressure of always being strong. You're weighed down of this pressure of always getting ahead. You're weighed down of always being the leader, always being first. You know, it's in your genetic makeup. It's something that has been spoken before you for time. You always got to be strong. You always got to be tough. Why is the suicide rate higher for kings? Why do they go to drug abuse before women's? Why does this happen? It happens because there's such a demand on them. But if you got to remember, there's such a demand on a king, there has to be a reason why. Come on, Native. There has to be a reason why there's such a demand on a king to be strong. It's such a demand for him to be a leader. It's such a demand for him to be first. It's such a demand for him not to show his weaknesses. There's a reason why this thing happens. There's a reason why, in order to begin to try to control people, the system started with demasculating the man. Remember, when there's a system to bring us down, there's always a reason why they do what they do. And if they had to start out with demasculating the man, removing that divine masculinity, then we have to recognize that it's something I need. Because if you're trying to conquer me, you're trying to rule me, you're trying to make me a slave, and what you're focused on is demasculating the king, then something in my head has to go off like a light bulb. Do you hear like that aha moment that Native A talks about? Shout out to Native A. Aha, yeah. Wait. I'm figuring something out. I'm cracking the code. Why are we so concerned about demasculating, removing that divine masculinity out of that man? Why do you think, why is it so important to you? Why are we focusing on this? Why do you keep making me feel like this should happen? And we need to be able to say, okay, that has to be something that I need. And I'm talking to my kings, I'm talking to my queens. It has to be something that I need. That divine masculinity can stand before all adversity in strength and be strong. Come on. We see it, and with my kings, there's this psychological weight. There's a psychological weight that says you got to keep going. You got to, don't show your weakness. Disregard your emotion. You got to be strong. You're the head of the house. You got to do this. You got to make sure everything's perfect. You got to make sure everything's right. You know, you cannot feel. Hello, my Monroe. How can I be strong? Hi, Square. Hey, love. My kings, I love you. You guys already know. How can I begin to be constantly strong? How much pressure is that if I got to be strong all the time, 24/7, and yet I have to suppress my other emotions because I have to appear a certain way. And I even have to appear that way so much so that I believe it. This is what the kings go through. They got to appear so much so. I got to be strong. I got to get through this. I can't show my weaknesses. I can't speak my emotions. I have to close my energy. My energies can't move freely because remember, emotions is energy in motion. The king's energy cannot move freely because I cannot show all emotion, because if I show every emotion that I have, you're going to see me as weak. There's such a pressure on the kings that they begin to resort to these things of trying to cope with it. A king coping with the pressure. A king coping with the pressure is drinking. A king coping with the pressure is using drugs. A king coping with the pressure is being silent. How can the authority rule if their mouth is shut? There's always pressure on the king to always be strong. There's always, they can't experience shame. They can't experience guilt. All these things that was given to them, they're told and they're trained to be a certain way. No, when we were children, my heart goes out to them. Come on, Rican. Growing up, I could even remember with my dad, who is amazing. I love my father. He never kissed my brother. He never hugged on my brother. He never told him how much he loved him. He always taught him how to be strong, which my grandfather taught my father how to be strong, and my great-great-grandfather. The kings have been dealing with this strain throughout generations, missing the love. Come on, Native. Try to go to the gym and try to lift weights for 24 hours. Try to go bench press weights for 24 hours. You're going to get tired over a period of time. But no, that's not enough. Tomorrow you got to do the same thing. So now you got to bench press for 24 more hours. And I know you're tired, but it doesn't matter. Pick up the weight, because tomorrow you're going to have to bench press 24 hours. And you see what we're doing? It's back to back. There's no break. There's no way that we can begin to elevate that way. There's no way the king can begin to elevate in his divine masculinity if he's strong all the time. We even know in our natural body, when we work out, we cannot work out 24/7 because our muscles begin to get torn. I need you guys to catch this for me. I need you guys to catch this for me. In the natural body, everything that has to do with the physical, the natural body, we deal with in our life, we deal with spiritually. And I want you to catch this real quick. I want you to catch this. Listen, yes. The human body, when we begin to work out, it has been designed that the bigger that our muscle gets, as we work out and our muscles begin to tear. Have you ever worked out and then you felt tired? Have you ever worked out and you had aches all over your body? The aching part of your body is muscle that has been torn. There's little tears that the muscle has when you're working out. And those tears, I'm trying to break it down in a simple form. And those tears in your muscles have to heal themselves again because they got bigger. You see that? They have to heal. There's tears that happen, so they have to heal and so they can be stronger. I'm gonna be stronger because of what I just went through. I did 25 push-ups. My muscles hurt because they were torn, but in 2 days I could do 30 because I'm getting stronger because I'm being torn. And what happens with the king is so much is that they're constantly pushed on the pressure. That's why we cannot work out back to back to back, because there needs to be a period to stop for the healing so that it can become stronger. But for our kings, we demand the impossible. Why is the death rate why it is? Why is the suicide rate higher in kings? Why is there more depression in kings than women? Did we even recognize that? Did we even know that? We thought it was the queen, right? It's the king. Hey, Skull. Hey, love. Why is there more related deaths to alcohol? Why is there more substance abuse with the king? Because he's never allowed to heal. He's never allowed to heal from the strength, from what he's carried, from his family, from his childhood, from his experiences, from his relationships. He's not allowed to heal because you're supposed to be strong enough to get through all. That's the pressure and the demand that we have on the king. And sooner or later, that muscle is going to give out. If you do not let it rest, if you do not let it heal itself, because it's tearing itself. Every time a king deals with strength, he tears a piece of him. Do you hear me? When a king fights on the battlefield with his people, the false kings do not fight on the battlefield with their people. Every great king in history has stood in every battle themselves alongside the people that they love. When you think about 300, when you think about these great kings of all time, they have stood in the midst of adversity and danger with their people. They stood in the battlefield. They stood there and they did it together. They didn't allow people to go out on their own. They served. They understand. The same as the Most High. When we talk about the Son of the Most High, he came to serve, but we call him king. What was he always doing? When they looked out in the field and they looked out what was going on, the disciples always was looking for him, but he was always serving. But you're the king. So a real king serves his people. I'm not talking about these fake kings that we listen to in history that sit on a throne and demand things and point fingers and tell you what to do. I'm talking about the kings that experienced, that had such loyal people in their life that they would die for them because what you do for me, how you serve me is why I call you king. Not because you wear a crown, because of what you represent to me in my life. And that's why as a queen, hi Miss Ree, hey love. And that's why as a queen, we are able to say, my king, welcome forward, my king. I understand that you serve me as I serve you. That's a king. Love Power talks about it all the time. Divine Masculinity knows that he will serve the almighty womb. Why? Because he knows that she has his best interests. Hell or high water, she's gonna see to him. So why not serve something that's elevating me? Why not make sure the very thing that's elevating me higher as a king, I make sure they're good? It makes sense. Weekend, hey love. It makes sense. So true kings serve their people. They serve the ones that they love as the people that they love serve them because of the service that they receive. There have been people in history that said, you are not my king. You wasn't here when I lost my sheep. You wasn't here when I lost my family. You wasn't here when I had to fight people to keep my possessions and the king stepped in. You wasn't here. He was here. I'm not just serving anyone. I'm serving someone that served me. Right, I have the admins, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, mister. Thank you, love. Hey, Keys. Yes, okay. Okay. I got some of you guys out there. I need y'all comment if you can. Comment if you can. Let me know any questions that you have. I love emojis, everything, all of that. All of that. So the king has a pressure on them that they're so strong that they begin to tear like a muscle. And there has to be a building up of. If the king is constantly strong, he tears of himself. There's tears in him as strong as he is. Every time he uses his strength in something, a piece of him is torn. And because of the pressure, because of the demand, he continues to press forward regardless of what was torn. And as he presses forward in strength in that thing, he gets torn again. And as he presses forward again, because he cannot stop and take a break, because all eyes are on me. Everyone's depending on me. If I cannot do this, I am going to be shamed by my family. I'm not gonna feel good about myself. I'm not gonna be able to feel strong. I gotta do this because I cannot let my family down. There is a pressure on the king like no other. The king falls into a place where they fail to acknowledge or admit their problems. They fail to acknowledge and reveal their problems. More money, hey love. Because of the demand that's on their life. Because the king cares about his family more than he does himself. A lot of times because the king cares more about what you see from them than themselves. They care about the view, your perception of who they are more than they do themselves. And that's why every time when a king is strong and pieces of him are torn, he never stops, he never breaks, and he never allows his muscles and that strength to be healed to become stronger. And the more strong he is in all he does, he becomes weak. because I'm not living in divine masculinity anymore. That's what happens with our kings. They don't live in divine masculinity anymore. They begin to live in strength. Masculine strength, and the divinity is missing. The divinity is missing. Atlas, thank you, love. I'm following you on the healing part. All right, Native, I hear you. When the king is so strong, like I talked about with the muscle, every time we strengthen our muscles get torn, and we have to let it heal so it could be stronger. With my kings, they are so strong that when they carry something through and they represent their strength and they show their strength, they're torn. But instead of healing and resting and letting that strength heal, they move back into strength again. And then they're torn. Then they move back into strength again. And then they're torn and move back into strength again. And the stronger that they are, the weaker they are. I'm going to say that again. It doesn't really make sense, Candy. It does, though. The stronger that my kings get, the more masculine they get, the weaker they are. Did you hear what I said? I didn't just say masculine. DJ Chosen, welcome forward. Love you, King. I love you, love you. That's new, Candy. I like that. Awesome. Thank you, Native. Fire. I got a knot in my stomach. Oh, speak clean. Thank you, love. Thank you so much. Atlas, thank you, love. Come on, Square, that part. Come on, Square. DJ Chosen! I truly appreciate your blessing. Thank you, Square. Inconspicuous! Welcome forward, King. My eye is jumping. I don't know why, but... The stronger and stronger that the kings get, the weaker they are. Because we have pressured them so much so that they are functioning in a not a harmful, in a okay, there we go. We have pressured the king so much that they are functioning in an unhealthy strength now. They get stronger after they go through a situation, and they get torn, and they don't stop. They get stronger, then they move forward. They move in strength. Then they get torn. Then they move in strength. Torn, then strength. Torn, then strength. Torn, then strength. And they never take a break because they have to uphold this facade. They have to uphold this presentation. They have to uphold this view of who they've been called to be and what they've been trained through generations. Generations. And they break out of this. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to look at comments. Oh, you're surely blessed, God. Thank you, mister. I'm not going to look through comments because I'm trying to keep my thoughts, because this is not, everything's just coming right now. So, we have pushed our kings to such an unhealthy strength that they're supposed to have, an unhealthy pressure of strength that they're supposed to have, that they are actually weak. Because they never get to heal to become stronger in that divine masculinity. But we're so used to this world of everything quick and everything fast that we don't allow them to take time to heal. We don't allow them to take time to heal. You're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to do it. Aren't you going to get it together? Didn't you remember this? Didn't you remember that? We put so much pressure on them that it's an unnatural. That's what I'm saying. Unnatural strength. That's what I wanted. It's an unseen. That's why I got to focus. Unnatural strength. We have them living up to this unnatural strength, this impossible, irrational strength that is not supposed to be. The kings are human. Do you hear me? Come on, Lola. Thank you, Rican. They're human. How can I become stronger if I don't heal? If they do not heal from the strength that they just used, they cannot be stronger than the strength they just used. So we have kings living off of a strength that they had 10 years ago and never grew from. And that's why they're running to drugs. And that's why they don't have their self together. And that's why nothing's ever working. And that's why 6 million of them are in depression. And that's why the suicide rate is higher than women. They're living in a strength. They're living in the same strength that they had 10 years ago. Because the king went through 10 years of not being able to take a break from when he was torn. 10 years of always being strong. 10 years of never showing his weaknesses. We have pulled the kings to a unnatural place of strength. We have removed the divine masculinity and we have replaced it with man's masculinity. Man's masculinity says, you cannot take a break, king. Man's masculinity says, you can't show weaknesses, king. Man's masculinity says, you cannot be vulnerable, king. Man's masculinity says, even to your partner. You know how deep that is? You don't even have a safe place with your partner to be vulnerable. You don't even have a safe place to be, a safe place with your partner to be transparent. A safe place to release your weaknesses, to show your weaknesses, to be built, even behind closed doors. So we uphold our kings to this unnatural strength, this impossible strength, wanting them and demanding them to be stronger, but never letting them heal from what they were torn from when they used their strength in the first place. And I want you to notice something. If I will never let the king heal from when he first was torn, he will forever be stagnant in a place of his growth. Do you hear me, queens? Do you hear me, queens? If we never allow him, hey black artists, hey love, if we never allow him to get healed from when he was torn, he is not able to grow. We step out of that divine masculinity and now we're stepping into a toxic masculinity. And when we pushed our kings into a toxic place, how can we demand anything pure? How can we sit there and say there's no good kings out there? How can we sit there and say, oh, they're good for nothing? We have pushed it into this unnatural, toxic masculinity now. It's not divine masculinity anymore. It's the model of masculinity. Now it's a shell. Now it's a presentation. Now we're demanding a presentation and not the essence of it. We don't care if the masculinity is divine anymore. We just want it. But you got to understand, come on, Lola, but you got to understand that speaks something about me. No, I want the divine. I want what has been called for him, not just me. I want him to be who the Most High has made him to be, and exactly how that is, that's what I want. Not what I'm assuming, not like I am God. I'm not going to put a model of his masculinity. I'm going to accept his divine masculinity. And in divine masculinity, it deals with weaknesses and vulnerability. And when we understand that, then we can see that he has strength. It's the model of masculinity, because what do we perceive strength is? Because I can believe that strength is being strong and never showing your weaknesses. But then the truth of the matter is, strength comes in weaknesses. If you're able to show your vulnerability, that's strength, because you don't care what people think. You're so strong in who you are. I don't care if you know my weaknesses. I still am promised my destiny and worthy of it. Do you see that? What is your view of strength? And our wrong view of strength have pushed our kings in a place of toxic masculinity and a model of masculinity, and not it being divine anymore. How can we ask for a model of masculinity and toxic masculinity but want the divine? How can we treat them like toxic masculinity but want the divine? The pressure of strength over generations that is on the backs of my kings has come from a place of the absence of love. The pressure on my kings. Sunshine! Coco, thank you guys for your taps. The pressure that is on my kings, the pressure of that strength has come from the absence of love. Because love covers all faults. Love covers all weakness. I love you, baby. You worked so hard. You stood for me. You stood for the family. Rest, King. Heal, King. I need you stronger for us tomorrow. So I need you to take a break. I need you to have this safe place to open up and tell me how you feel. I need you to tell me that it's hard. And I need you to tell me that you feel like you can't make it. And I need you to tell me that you don't feel strong enough. I need you to tell me that it's not easy. We don't allow them to be who they are. We don't allow that safe place. Right, Rican? We don't allow that safe place, but there's such a demand. And the way that I see it is because we look at how we was brought up. The kings were taught to be strong and silent. The kings was taught to be strong and silent. The kings was taught they never seen their father cry, so they never cried. They never seen their father complain. Yes, normalize being vulnerable, having vulnerable moments. Right. Right, Nola? I mean Nola, I'm sorry, Lola. Right, Lola? Yes. They wasn't taught to cry. This reminds me of the king and queen's relationship in 300. Right, I was saying that earlier. Actually, I was saying that earlier about the king and his servant. 300, that's what he did. But look, thank you, DJ Chosen. I said that earlier. I said there's kings that we call king. And I won't take it as the kings that of this world. There are kings that have served their people as if they never had a crown, as if that's their brother. And that's why the people love them and are so loyal to them so hard. And I'm speaking of the king of 300, Leonidas. Leonidas served his people so much that he even went to their house to serve them. There wasn't a man, a soul in his army that would not die for him because of who he was in their life. Not because the land said that they have to fight for him. They wanted to fight for him because who he was in their life. Now, how was that king able to be so great of a leader? How was that king able to be so great of a man to his people? Because that king Leonidas had a queen that was able to allow him to have a safe place. Do you guys hear me? He was able to look her and say, be able to go to her, seek wisdom from her in the midst of people and not feel that he's weak because he's asking his other, his half, his one, what his decision should be in front of all his people. He didn't feel like they would remove their respect from him because he made his final say be his wife's, be his queen, as he says. He said, my queen. That's what he called her. Do you see that? And that's where we're messing up too. We're messing up because we're not coming to a place for a king to be so strong that he serves the woman. Leonidas' strength came from how he operated in his life. And how he operated in his life was his queen, his wife. He served her. He put her first because he knew that her with her almighty womb, which means Mother Earth, Mother Nature, Mother Care, always caring, whatever is hers, whatever's in her possession. Why do we go through species and you could take a newborn human baby and put it with the mother of an ape or a monkey and she will treat that baby as her own? It is the nature of a mother. It is the nature of the woman. It's a nature. Thank you, DJ Chosen. It is the nature of the almighty womb to care for what is hers. And it doesn't even have to be of her. So why not serve something that is going to strengthen me? Why not serve someone that is elevating me? Why not serve and make sure that they're okay, because they will do everything in their power to make sure I'm good? Why wouldn't I want someone around me that elevates me? Man, I spoke you right clean to the live, Love Power. I'm on your stuff. Is that not crazy? Yes. I spoke you right to the live. I'm talking about the almighty womb and the king serving her because he understands what she brings him. Why was Leonidas so strong? Because why was he strong like that over his people? Why was he able to have strength to beat one of the greatest kings that ever ruled? How was that possible? Because he had a safe place to be able to be vulnerable. Did you see that? He was able to open up to his other half, to open up to his queen and say, I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is hard for me. This is not going to be easy. I don't know what's going to happen. He was able to be vulnerable with her because he knows it's a safe place. Why not use the wisdom that the Most High has blessed me with, which is my queen, that to let her make the decision in spite of the faces? I'm strong enough to allow my queen to make my decisions because I know what she carries. And I'm strong enough with myself as a king that I know that does not diminish my divine masculinity to allow her to make the decision. Come on, I understand the makeup of the Father. If the Almighty Womb will always and forever care for all that is in her possession, why would I feel like that I cannot be safe with her? Why would I feel like I shouldn't serve her? She should serve me. No, I want to take care of the thing that takes care of me. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to take care of the thing that takes care of me. I'm not going to believe the hype. I'm not going to walk in this model of masculinity, of this toxic masculinity that our kings, some of our kings are walking in. I'm not going to walk in this fake stuff. I'm going to get real, back to earth. Remember when people say get down to earth? We definitely need more of this on Bigo. Thank you, Mr. The divine masculinity understands he gets back, he's down to earth. What do you mean, Candy? The divine masculinity king is down to earth. You know how people say, oh yeah, she's down to earth. Oh yeah, he's down to earth. Why do you think people say that? Why do you think people say that? Get down to earth. Yeah, she's down to earth. Down to earth, getting back to Mother Earth. Mother Earth caring for everything that's in her possession. Why do we say that? Because there's something there. And the divine masculine understands who she is. And we have to come to a place to allow him to have that divine masculinity. We're so used to everything fake, GMO, fake food, fake love, fake living, a fake life. The real is the divine. Divine masculinity sees that weakness is their strength. Understand that if he's vulnerable, that he's strong. Divine masculinity functions in love. Didn't I say, how did this pressure of strength come to be on the backs of the king? Because it's generations of teaching strength without love. I'm going to say that again. It's generations of teaching strength without love. And I feel it because I experienced it. I feel it because I know it. I know it from my father and my brother. My father loves my brother. And throughout him raising him so much, but he never kissed him. He never told him he loved him because he wanted him to be strong. And that because of what he was taught from his father and what he was taught from his father. And that strength without love, that creates toxic masculinity. And that strength without love creates the model of masculinity. And now my father understands what love is. He understands it has to be expressed, not just felt, but it has to be expressed. And he hugs and he kisses us and he tells us he loves us, and he tells my brother too. Because he broke out of that generational curse. Thank you guys, I love you. He broke out of that. He was able to see that you have to have love with strength. That's where it's created from. That's why my kings are like this. That's why the suicide rate is higher than women. That's why 6 million are affected with depression. That's why the deaths related to alcohol is up to 62,000. That is why they're 3 times more likely to use substance abuse than queens. All that is than queens. Because we are now training our men to live in a strength that is unnatural. We are training them to be a model of masculinity and not live in the divine. The model of masculinity says, I'm better than all. I'm always strong. I don't need anybody. The queen serves me. No, I'm going to serve the very thing that lifts me up. I got to make sure they're good because they're always going to see to me and make sure that I'm good. They always have my best interest. Why not serve them? They're helping me. Leonidas was the great king that he was because he understood the queen. And Leonidas's queen, because she understood and did not have a misconception of the king, made him a great king. That's why he didn't have to force his people to give their life, even leaving the people that they love unconditionally, their family, knowing they were going to death for him. He wasn't shy. He wasn't scared to show men. What history will say, the strongest men, the strongest soldiers that ever existed, what history says, he wasn't afraid to stand before those men and show them that his final say comes from his queen. Y'all remember that? He looked at his queen before he kicked that man that would bring world war to him down that hole that disrespected him and her. He looked to see what she decided to say. And this part is deep, my king and queens. He didn't think twice. Are you in a relationship that your queen understands who you're supposed to be, that she doesn't have a misconception of who you are, of that divine masculinity? King, are you in a position to understand the almighty womb and that you have to serve her? Because that's the best thing for you. That's the problem. The toxic masculinity, the model of masculinity doesn't want to serve the queen. They want the queen to serve them because they believe that it's benefiting her. Because they have the blinders on. They don't recognize if I serve her, I'm better. It's not that she doesn't care for me. Women have a special kind of wisdom men don't have. Divine wisdom. Right, DJ Chosen? Come on now. And he didn't think twice. He did not think twice. He turned around and did exactly what she said. They feel like, my kings feel like, that was dope, right, Native? My kings feel like if they show vulnerability, they're gonna lose their authority over others. And that's why some of my kings have fallen into this toxic masculinity, because they feel like they rule over others. And that's why I understood why Native A always says, I don't want to be called king, because of that part, that toxic masculinity, that model of masculinity. I don't want to show my weakness because then it might threaten my authority over others. I care about having this power. I care about having this control. They care about power more than their health. They care about power more than self. I am king. You are my subjects. That's what we have created over generations. To my beautiful kings that I love you so much. You guys are like so dear to my heart, for real, for real. Because I can't just look at the now. I got to look at how did we get here? And how we got here is the pressure of that strength without love on you, kings. Remember that asking for help and demanding change is a sign of strength, my kings. Asking for help and demanding change is a sign of strength. Blue eyes, hey love, hey first lady. Right, Rican? The God, hey love. You have to have a safe place, kings. You have to have a safe place. All right, Rican. My beautiful kings. Asking for help and demanding change is a sign of strength. I call you all to tap in your true strength, to tap in your true abilities. I call you, kings, to walk in that divine masculinity that the Most High has called for you, not what has been removed. Does this sound familiar? Does it sound like the big three when they talk about let's get back to the basics, let's get back to wild, let's get back to the food that was created for us? Does it sound the same? We see that everything is infected in the same way. I'm telling you to get back to that divine masculinity, to the original, what you was created in. You was created to be strong in love. And love covers all faults. So when a king recognizes that, they recognize they can always be strong even in their weakness. To my kings, asking for help and demanding change is a sign of strength. And I need you, king and queens, to get back to, I need you, kings, to get back to your divine masculinity. Which your divine masculinity says that I can always be strong, even in my weakness. We got to give kings more credit. Come on, Rican. Come on, Rican. That's why I feel the way I do. That's why I feel the way I do. And I want you to understand this, queens out there. That's why I'm not so big on women power and women independence and all this. It's not surprising to me. I'm about to break this down just a little bit and I'm out of here. My queens, it's not surprising to me. I'm going to be real with you. I don't care about a Women's Day. I don't care about women's rights and things like that. Now, yes, I talk about equality, yes. But what I'm talking about is us saying, look, I'm independent. Look, I did this. I'm so great. We was made that way. That's not a surprise to me. I'm gonna say something to you guys. Newsflash. That's how we was made. Mother Nature. Feminism. Yeah, right, Monroe. I'm not with feminism. Not even close. And lifting up women, it's something that we have already, so I don't feel like it has to be lifted up. You know, like we're breathing. The First Lady, come on now. You know how we're breathing right now? That's how I feel about what we can accomplish. I don't think that it's crazy that a woman would be a president. No, I don't think that a woman owning her own business is a whole big thing. I don't separate that. That's why you'll never hear me say the first woman, blah, 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 that I did. No. That's how we was created. We are the virtuous women. Do you see what I'm saying? Me neither, girl. We all need to be lifted. Yeah, we all need to be lifted, but that's not a but. We all need to be lifted. I don't see it as an accomplishment because we were designed like that. This is Mother Earth. We are the almighty womb. Whatever it takes. Have you seen species in the wild? Have you seen mothers of species in the wild? Sports breed, get love. They will do whatever it takes to protect their children. I'm talking to some women out there. It's what we do and who we are. Right, come on now. It is in us. Right, I understand that you're saying agree. Yes, I know you do, blue eyes, because I know your spirit. I know how you are. I'm talking to the mothers out there. Would you not do whatever it takes for your children that you have birthed from you? Would you not jump in front of a bullet? Would you not give your last water in the desert? Would you not go all out and do everything, even if it calls you to go to death for what's yours? I want to see y'all in the comments. Is there any women, queens out there that will go all out for their children? Even to the point that if they have to take their life, they don't think twice. There is a fire. Their children are in there. I am going in there and take them out. And I don't care if I die in the process because I need to get out and protect what is mine. Come on, Monroe. You see, I like that, Monroe. Of course. I ain't even going to get crazy about it because it's easy. That's such an easy answer. Of course we will. That is the perception I'm talking about. Yes, ma'am. I listen to you, everybody, these Jesus. Right, Barbie. Of course. No question about it. Come on, Queenin. No question about it. That is what we do. There was a video of a cat. Nisi, hey love. There was a video of a cat that ran back and forth, 4-degree burns, and died, pulling all of her kittens out of that house. Back and forth. Died crispy and got every single kitten out of that house. Would that not be us? This is the design of the almighty womb. We have been created to create life, birth it, and raise it. Come on, the almighty womb, the queen. This is what we have been called to do. And it's second nature to us. It's already installed in us to protect, to cover, to care. How can you tell me that same characteristic wouldn't be able to open a business? How can you tell me that same characteristic can live a life all by herself without a king? Of course she can. She's designed that way. So I don't feel like there was a time that I didn't think like this. An independent woman is so spectacular. That's not a big deal to me. She can pay all her bills. She got all this together. That doesn't matter. She went to school. She got degrees. Of course, we are the virtuous woman. We have the characteristics of a virtuous woman. If you're surprised about that, then you really don't know who you was made to be. I'm just saying, and I know this might hurt some feelings, but I'm just saying it's not whoopee to me if there would be a woman president. It's not crazy to me if women can do this and women can do that. Women can do what men do. Of course, we have been created with this wisdom from the divine. Why? To help the king. The word says, who is he that he would find her? The king must have her in his possession. There is something that she has that was built in her to give him because that is our core. It's what we love. It's what we do. It's how we care. It's in us because we're mothers. A wise woman and a wise queen understands who a king is. I'm going to say that again. A wise woman understands that she hasn't been called to a life of being independent. If you have condemned the great life and that more abundantly, if you choose to live a life of independence. I'm going to say that again. You have called your life to be condemned from living life and that more abundantly when you choose to live an independence, queen. You're not supposed to be superwoman 24/7. The king is supposed to be able to let you take your cape off. Not that he thinks you can't do it, but he knows you need a break. We haven't been called the light to be strong 24/7. Do you see how society has changed things? Come on, Lola. There's a balance. You haven't been called to be, oh, happy Father's Day. Oh, it's Father's Day. I can't. Y'all gonna get me on a whole nother level. It's Father's Day. Well, say happy Father's Day to me because his dad ain't there. I'm the mom and the father. No, you're not. You're the mother. And you choose to take the place and fill in the blanks of the father. If you do that, you choose to do that. You're not supposed to. And I don't mean you do it because you have to, but you're not supposed to. That's not something that you celebrate. I'm not going to celebrate I am the father and the mother because that's not a place I'm supposed to be in. No, Father's Day is for the father. And hopefully my child will have a father in his life if his biological father chooses not to. I don't want to take that place. I want to live life and that more abundantly. I don't want to have to do 150,000 jobs and my life wasn't called for it. And be proud of it. You're proud of living in the struggle. You're proud of carrying 50,000 crosses when you don't have to, when the Most High didn't call that for you. You're proud of that, queen? No, you haven't been called to be single. You've been called to have help too. You've been called for a king to serve you. No, it's not cute that you can serve yourself. You have been called. You have been called to be with someone. We could never come to a place to be our better self if we're working all the time. That's the same for the king and that's the same for the queen. It's not cute that we choose to do everything and be proud of it. No, let's get to a place to want to be proud of when we reach life and that more abundantly, where we don't have to be superwoman all the time. King, where you don't have to be Superman all the time. Where you're able to take off your cape, where you're able to step into your natural self. We never heard of Superwoman and Superman just being that. They had a other lifestyle. They had Clark Kent. They had their other identity. We need to get back to our identity and stop being the strong thing, the strong presentation all the time, because then we're just living. And that's not what we've been called to do. We are called to live life and that more abundantly, to live in blessings, to live in favor. And we can't do that if we're working all the time. We can't do that if we're being strong all the time. We can't do that if we can't let our hair down. We can't do that if we have to keep showing that we're strong and masculine kings. Do you see that? So that's what I'm saying. When we can come to a place to not have a misconception about failure, failure to understand each other, to understand the king, to understand the queen. When we come to a place like that, then we can start living in a life that has been called for us. And understanding that I'm not supposed to live this life by myself. And if I came across people that haven't been up to par to the standard of life that the Most High wants me, they wasn't good enough for me. And I mean that for every baby daddy and every baby mama that didn't step up to the plate. That's what I'm talking about. You might have to fill in that job for now, but don't live there. There has to come a time where somebody else has to fill that thing. So have hope in your relationship. Have hope in the Most High and faith in Him to let Him do what He wants to do. He wants you to have a partner. He wants you to feel safe in your weaknesses. He wants you to feel safe with that partner and be vulnerable. He wants you to have someone that lifts you up. He wants you to have someone that strengthens you. See that? Right? So now that we have a greater understanding of king, and we also have a greater understanding of queen, I love you all. I hope that you enjoyed this all. And now that we do, we can always lift each other up. Lift up the divine masculinity and lift up the almighty womb. Enough with bringing each other down. It's time for the lifting. Right? Kings, 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 kings. I love you with all my heart. I see the struggle. I see the hardships. And I understand. As much as I can, I understand the pressure, the demand. And I support you in all of my being. I support you, my kings. I love you from the bottom of my heart. And to my queens that do the same, shout out to you. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And I just want to say, continue to be amazing, awesome, and extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. I love you all. Have a beautiful, fantastic day. And subscribe to Ani Marie if you haven't yet. Please comment. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how the video went. And any other topics that you would like me to talk about, please put in the comments and we'll address those things. So have a beautiful, awesome, amazing day.